Hey guys, and welcome to a game commentary of the 2018 speed chess matchup between Wesley So and Vidit Gujarati. So these games were played on chess.com, and for those of you who are wondering what the final score was, well, Wesley So managed to beat Vidit quite comfortably with a score of 16.5 to 10.5. So this game was played in the 5-minute 1-second increment portion of the match, Wesley with the white pieces and Vidit with black. Wesley opens with e4, we have e5, knight f3, knight c6 and bishop b5, the Roy Lopez. a6, the Morphy's defense, bishop a4, knight f6, white castles, knight takes e4 and d4. So far this is all still theory. b5, bishop b3, pawn to d5, we have d takes e5, bishop to e6, knight bd2, bishop to e7 and c3 from Wesley, controlling the d4 square and also making a flight square for this bishop. Vidit castles and here bishop to c2, putting more pressure on the knight on e4. So Vidit goes f5, securing this knight on e4, and if that is taken, this only helps black because now the f-file is open for his rook. So after f5, knight to b3, queen to d7 from Vidit, knight b to d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4. Here Wesley played knight takes d4 instead of c takes d4 because, well, c takes d4 for one, it doesn't pose much challenges for black. Since this pawn is no longer on c3 now, the b4 square is no longer protected by white, so black is just free to expand on the queen side. So here another reason why Wesley played knight takes d4 is because this gives white the option of playing f3, booting this knight away. So here we have c5 from Vidit, knight takes e6, queen takes e6 and f3, kicking the knight away. Knight g5, and here a4 from Wesley. So this is quite a common idea. If black has a pawn on b5, you play a4. So here rook a to d8. Well, black cannot take on e5 because that simply loses after f4. So after rook a to d8, we have a takes b5, a takes b5, and king to h1. This brings the king out of any potential checks along the g1 a7 diagonal. Vidit plays f4, shutting out this bishop and also preparing to take on e5. b4 from Wesley, and here c4 seems like a very logical move, closing down the position since white has the two bishops, and also taking away the d3 square from white's queen. But here Vidit plays c takes b4, so he wants to win this pawn, and here rook to b1 since the rook is under fire, and queen to b8. Since white is going to play rook to e1, so black retreats the queen. So now this bishop is under fire, so rook to d7, queen to d3, so white is threatening to take on h7 after playing h4. Therefore, g6 from Vidit, h4, knight f7, and bishop to b2. So although Vidit has managed to win a pawn, but now the position has opened up. And this is favorable for Wesley since he has the two bishops and quite a strong attack against black's king. So here Vidit plays d4, shutting out the long diagonal. If he plays, for example, bishop takes h4, then after queen to d4, white threatens mate on g7 and the only defense is to give up the knight. So after d4 we have rook to e6, threatening rook takes g6. Let's see what happens if, for example, queen to c8, then rook takes g6. And if pawn takes g6, you simply take on g6, then deliver mate on h7. And if king to h8, then here white has a very nice move. Rook to g8, clearing out the path for the queen. And no matter what piece takes the rook or the king, you simply take on h7 with mate. So after rook to e6, Vidit plays knight to e5, giving more protection to the g6 square. Queen to e4. So very simple move from Wesley, putting more pressure on the knight. And if knight moves, then again white has the threat of rook takes g6. So there isn't really a good way to defend the knight. Vidit plays rook to f5, so this defends the knight for the moment, and also trying to get some counterplay with rook to h5. But here Wesley simply takes the pawn, and also attacking this knight. Bishop d6, and rook to e1, so piling up on this knight. So again, black cannot move this knight, because, for example, let's say knight c4, then rook to e8 is devastating for black. This wins the queen. So here, Vidit goes for rook to h5. We have bishop takes e5, bishop takes e5, rook takes e5, rook takes h4 check, king g1, and queen to b6. And here, you have to be a bit careful. If you play king to f1, then after rook h1, well, black manages to escape with a perpetual after the queen g1, king e2, then you take on g2, and this is going to be perpetual. So after queen to b6 check, rook to c5, blocking the check, queen to d6, but this is just simply all over now. Rook takes b5, queen to d2, here queen to e5, and in this position, Vidit resigned the game because, well, if for example black takes on c2, the black king is simply too exposed after rook to b8 check, king f7, here a very nice finish, rook to f8. And if that is taken, then you play queen to f6, and if rook to f7, then queen to h8 is mate. And if king to g8, then rook to e8 is made as well. So a very nice game from Wesley So, showing the power of the two bishops in an open position. I hope you enjoyed the game, and if you're interested in seeing more games from this match, do leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will do my best to cover another game from this match. So thank you for watching, do subscribe for more future content, and have a great day.